Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we're still talking about what has been in the news all this week has been the Democrat Party. Because the Democratic Party is shocking the whole entire country and the whole entire world. Because what they are doing is unprecedented. It appears that we are going through an unprecedented era in American history. Supposedly, Donald Trump is right. We are entering into a golden age. Sort of like the era of good feelings. Going to the era of good feelings, what happened to the era of good feelings? It was sort of like a golden age. It was called the era of good feeling, the era of good feelings with an S. But basically, this was a period that James Monroe brought upon into it was a golden age, and that led to the fall of the Federalist Party, which is the more conservative political party, which back then the conservatives supported big government. They supported national bank. They were mainly consisted of urban, rich, living New Englanders. Wow, a lot of times have changed. While rural Southerners coming from the Democratic Republican Party, the party of James Madison, the party of James Monroe, they are more liberal, progressive, left-wing, sort of libertarian sort of ideals. Very different type of left compared to the left we have right now. But the point is, yes, James Monroe, a Democrat Republican, he dismantled the Federalist Party. The Federalist Party could not recover after the election of 1816 for some reason. It's just they were lacking momentum. People just rallied around James Monroe, and the Federalist Party collapsed. We saw then we have a similar story in 1856. Now, 1852, excuse me, where the Whig Party suffered under Winfield Scott. Winfield Scott was generally a very popular candidate, and he obviously was defeated in a landslide against Franklin Pierce, who no one even know. So not to mention, Franklin Pierce was very mediocre, and he turned out to be a very mediocre president, who, as you know, he was very unpopular, yes, because he was in a depression because his son died in a train accident. And that just ruined his whole presidency. He couldn't get things done, and he became a Joe Biden. He was unpopular, didn't want to run for re-election. Understand, like his son dying, I understand, but he should have resigned, honestly. So Franklin Pierce, yeah, he won a mandate, but that he could not bring that mandate. Well, you'd think the Whig Party would be more popular now. No, the Whig Party could not recover. And it ended up collapsing. So yes, political parties do collapse, and I do believe, at first I was like, is the Democrat Party collapsing? I don't know. I want to see more. And it's actually been a month, and I haven't seen the Democratic Party this chaotic ever since the Civil War, because the Democratic Party was divided between North and South. The North following Stephen A. Douglas, who wanted to be more relaxed with the slavery issue, more compromisable, wanted to move away from the slavery issue, more progressive. Then you got the South, following John C. Breckinridge, and they're more neo-Confederate, more religious, when it comes to more religious, conservative, a little bit progressive populism. But yes, now the Democratic Party is obviously divided. And looking here, it's obvious and pretty calling out the shots. Democrats, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because the Democrats, they have an opportunity to change after seeing what happened a few days ago, 3 days ago. Well, actually, a week ago. It was Tuesday, where Democrats were so disrespectful. For the very first time in history, the Sergeant of Arms was deployed to remove a congressman. That has never been done before, guys. This Sergeant of Arms was created but for a reason, and no one ever thought of using it because everyone was elected, and everyone knew, every politician knew that, hey, look, if I want to keep my job, I better behave myself. But now we're in this sole political divide that people will go and they'll say, oh, you know what? It doesn't matter what I do. My far left constituents will reelect me anyway. That's why Al Green felt that he had the right to scream and destroy a national night of unity, because he comes from a district of leftists. He will get reelected. Hopefully he gets primaried out, but if he wins that primary, he will get reelected. It's a shame that we elect people like Al Green, who honestly does not see the importance of a joint address or a State of the Union address and the history of it. And I think Al Green ought to be ashamed of himself that he was the very first congressman in U.S. history to be removed by the, of course, Sergeant of Arms. So not a good day for Democrats. On top of that, Democrats couldn't even stand for two women who were mutilated by illegal aliens. And then again, you're just come right out saying that, hey, look, we don't care. We don't care if women are mutilated or killed by illegal aliens. If you cared, if you actually gave a you know what, you would stand. You would stand and you would show some respect. Hey, look, we don't really necessarily agree with how the Republicans are playing out with this. Hey, but we agree that Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungaroy's deaths were an atrocity. But they can't even stand for that. So this leaves a lot of Democrats scratching their heads. Hey, wait, I thought we were the good guys. Well, I don't think you are the good guys. I don't think you are actually good people. Not only that, you guys refuse to stand for a kid with brain cancer. You guys refuse to stand for a young man who got an entry to a military academy. So, obviously, Democrats can't stand for anything, and Americans are now realizing more than ever that they are the party of hate and division. President Trump, he was very right for calling this out. Hey, look, you guys can't even stand for people with brain cancer. You can't even stand for a woman who got her brain bashed out by a man in a sport that left her permanently brain damaged. You can't even stand that. And in response to those, they're just saying, oh, you're demonizing trans folk. Well, that's very contrary to the 80% of Americans that believe that men shouldn't be in women's sports. Men shouldn't be in women's bathrooms. So, not only that, Democrats just ruin themselves in so many ways in just 1-2 hours. They prove that they showed up with these plastic signs. They can't spend 1-2 hours of being Americans instead of being partisan. They have a heckling Neanderthal, and Democrats gladly take this by an honor to be the very first party to be removed by the Sergeant of Arms. And on top of that, they refuse to stand for women and victims of sexual violence, and especially if it's from a group that they so feel committed to protecting, then they'll definitely not stand for you. They feel that they won't stand for women that were left injured due to men in women's sports. Then again, men cheating the system. Hey, guess what? You're proving to everyone that you're the party of women. You're not the party of woman. Hey, look, you guys boo-hoo, whine, and cry about abortion, but I honestly really do think that many Americans now obviously have accepted that abortion is now a state's issue. Majority of Americans are accepting it. The noise, and that's all it is, noise. The noise you're hearing about with Roe v. Wade, and I haven't heard about it anymore. Bring back Roe v. Wade. No, those are far left feminists. Far left feminists that just want special rights and privileges. They feel that minorities should have more rights. DEI, more rights, more advantages, because they feel that they're cheated under the system. Even though, really, the 20th century there has been no other century than the 20th century for progress for these groups. I should say 20th century. If I have said 21st century, I meant 20th century. I'll have to look at the recording later, but you get what I'm saying. But, but yes, because of this, Democrats are leaving the Democrat Party. They've been tricked. They've been scammed. They are angry. And we should be angry. These people said that they stood for us. And what are they doing now? Democrats resort to doing these cringy, these TikTok videos where they do choose your fighter, and it just goes viral for the wrong reasons. It's cringe. And it shows that you're not really. This is who we're sending into office. The White House epically roasted the meme, which went viral and has been epically roasted by social media. This meme was attempted to rally into, of course, heroize or main character the Democrats, turn the narrative that they're the good guys. We got to fight against authoritarian Trump. They're trying to establish a narrative that Trump is sort of something like Lex Luthor or the Joker or something, this antagonistic guy, and we need to rally like the Avengers or the Justice League or something. That's what they're trying to establish. And they absolutely prove themselves to just be so cringe, so childish. And they say, oh, it's just for fun. Well, hang on a second. I have a question. You said democracy is on the line. Hitler's in the White House. And now you're saying this is for fun? Hang on. This isn't suiting well. So obviously this is political stunts. You have the purple-haired lady from Connecticut using Gen Alpha slang, which I don't know if she is aware, but Gen Alpha, they're 7 years old right now. 6-year-old. Some might be in high school. Yeah, some are in high school, freshmen. Guess what? They can't vote. You're a little behind, lady. And even they are roasting you. Skippity dippity doopity doppity. No. And plus, it's become a stigma. And I don't think this lady realizes that different generations like Gen Z, Gen A, Gen Y, I think that's Gen Alpha, Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, they roast each other because they tease each other because of their slang. Okay? And when you have an old lady with purple hair using slang that 6-year-olds use, is that going to suit well to most Americans? No, it's not. And most importantly, congressmen, we're in Congress. This isn't slang. This isn't. They're trying to relate to most Americans, but most Americans don't think of them that way. Most Americans for years have thinking about as professional, and that's what we want. Professional people that know what they're doing going into Congress. When we see congresswomen, congressmen doing fist pumps and doing jigs, and you have Jasmine Cratchit swearing, using ghetto-like slang, even though we had footage from her when she was elected, she didn't use that slang. She changed because she felt like she needs to get more African Americans in, and I'm not saying that's a stereotype, but this is obviously what she's trying to do. She's trying to get more young people back in. She's trying to bring more the young people, the young base back in. This is why they're doing these jigs. This is why they're using these slang words. And after they did that, after the horrific behavior in the State of the Union address, they're trying to resort to trying to get back young people. Well, Democrats, young people already saw you. You can't stand for anyone. You can't stand for a young boy with brain cancer. You can't stand for 3 women who were abused by men. You can't stand for that. And you claim you do lip service, but you won't actually stand for it. So then you resort back to lip service? People are not going to take you seriously now, and people are roasting you. So Donald Trump is predicting a red wave. He's saying, yeah, Democrats deserve to lose the midterms. Is he actually predicting a red wave? I don't know. But I do think that, hey, look, the Democrats, they don't stand for us. And really, they're going down. And the reason why I pointed out earlier in this video about the Whig Party and the Federalist Party, because they are following, it's going down like that. The Democrats are going down the same pattern as the Whig Party and the Federalist Party. Different patterns, but all in one pattern. Donald Trump bringing an era of good feelings in America and an election in which a president which was very divisive, despite that, brought down the whole Whig Party. So, and it's looking like it's going downhill. Never before the Democrats have been so unpopular. 21% approve. I know, that's horrible. That's more unpopular than Joe Biden. You have a problem if your approval rating is 21%. And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, we have the Virginia race. Yeah, I have to tell you guys, a lot of people have been dooming about the Virginia race. I don't think it's time to doom yet. Because we got the Wisconsin race coming up in less than a month. We need to focus on that. Yes, we need to keep Virginia red. Polls are showing good moves for Abigail Spanberger. But remember, Abigail Spanberger refused to stand. She refused to stand for that young boy or those 3 women and that one student. She was one of the bunch. Now, am I telling everyone to exploit that? No, we should never, ever exploit people that have been suffering. And to a point, guys, we got to stop talking about this. Because this can backfire horribly. Yes, Republicans have been taking a victory lap over the Democrats and their behavior. But eventually, we got to say, hey, look, it can't seem like, we don't want it to seem like we are happy that people are suffering because Democrats hurted them this so much way. No. We honor them no matter if they had stand or not. I feel strongly about DJ Daniels and those 3 women, regardless if the Democrats stood or not. That didn't impact my feelings because I realized those people went through suffering that no human being should have went through. And it just makes me more angrier. It makes everyone more angrier when you have half the chamber having zero emotion over that. Being so selfish. It just makes you more angry. But eventually, you got to put that aside. And we got to recognize, hey, look, these are people with dignity. We cannot politicize these people. We can't use them for political points, because what did Democrats do with January 6th? They've been talking about January 6th all this time. Eventually, the people turned on Democrats and said, hey, look, Democrats, you're using January 6th. It was a tragic day. You're using a tragedy to gain political points. And that's what hurt the Democrats in 2024. That is what helped people deflect back to Donald Trump. So let's not make the same mistake. Recognize that these people, they went through horrendous suffering, and therefore, yes, we can talk about it. We can point out their bluff. Donald Trump rightfully pointed out their bluff, but we got to stop talking about it eventually. We got to move on. And we got to continue to make America great again. We can remember these people. We can continue to honor them, but to repeatedly use them for political points, and I don't think we are. I think we're calling bluff, honestly, but it can easily become that. And we don't want to do that, because it will go from winning political points to actually decreasing points, because Americans will pick up to saying, hey, look, you don't actually care about these people. You care about the points. And that's absolutely not true. We are a compassionate, loving party that, however, believes in merit. We believe in logic and reasoning. Men can't become women, and women can't become men. Taxpayers can't definitely pay for it. There has to be logic to it. So we got to wake up and recognize things. So yes, Democrats, if the midterms were held today, it would be a red wave. As you can clearly see, my house map, this is a red wave scenario. Now, hang on. Democrats still have 206 seats. Is this a red wave? It is. It is. Because, to a point, guys, you got the expectations of a red wave and a blue wave have collapsed, okay? A landslide through like the last 30 years is anyone who picked up like 30 seats or 50 seats or 20 seats in the House of Representatives, vice versa, Senate, or 50% in the presidential election. That's changed now, because the fact will always be, despite Democrats being very unpopular, we live in a very polarized country. A country that is equally divided. And that's not going to change. I mean, we have far-left lunatics in our schools. We have far-left lunatics in our government. We have far-left lunatics everywhere. That's not going to change unless we ship them to China. So the definition of a landslide will change. There are people that just won't vote Republican ever, ever, ever. But I would characterize this scenario as a landslide. This is, in my opinion, the best Republicans can do in 2026. Democrats picking up nothing. Republicans picking up a net worth of 9. Not 10, 9. Single-digit number. But the fact that Democrats are picking up nothing, that is a landslide worth. You also have this district returning to the Republicans. You got 9, I believe, Democrats getting ousted. And Republicans almost get to 230. Leaving Democrats, and then again, hopefully, this in 2028, we get the Democrats down to 190. Will we get the Democrats down to 190 this in 2026? No. That is not going to happen. It's not. Will the Democrats win the House? Maybe. I'm not going to say no, but they could. And we should prepare for it. But this is the best case scenario for Republicans, 229 to 206. Best case scenario for Democrats. Guess what? Democrats aren't going to win the House of Representatives by much. Okay, this is what other way around would be. Now, I'm using dark blue, but this is not. Some of the seats, like North Carolina, one they already have, but I'm saying they gained it, but even though they already have it. So I'm just doing this because, I honestly can care less. All I care about is... So this is not good. Okay. One more. Yeah. Democrats have a problem. Okay. Yes. I also forgot. I'm missing one. One seat. One gain. Oh, right there. It's Los Angeles. Well, let's just say they gain the Iowa seats, Nebraska, excuse me. What's another seat they could very likely pick up? I say those Iowa and Nebraska is very likely. Oh, yeah. Okay, 218. I can't think of any other, if they get really lucky, but this is obviously the average. 218 at max. That's it, guys. They have a 1-seat majority. That's not a blue wave. Yeah, they gained, not even 11. Ignored the dark blue. They gained 2-3 seats. That's it. Not to mention, Republicans are likely to counter by winning, for example, Toledo, the Toledo district, or the North Carolina district. So it's going to be compatible. Maybe Republicans will cross the line by 219. I don't know. Okay, I don't really know. There's 220. But obviously, I do think it is going to be close. Republicans could squeak it. But the Democrats, they're running their party right now. They're not winning the House. This year, for sure. Next year, I don't know. But what about the Senate? Now, if the Republicans lose the House, is it a bad year? No. Now, it really does depend how much we lose the House. Honestly, I would love to keep the House. I mean, let's be honest. We can't get things done. Democrats whine and cry about the prices of eggs, even though they're sitting in the middle of the road. And we can't go on the highway of success because the donkey is in the road, whining and crying about eggs. They get out of the road and help us lower the price of eggs. But no, they don't want to get out of the road because they think they're being the opposition party. They think being the opposition party is whining and crying everything that Trump does. And that is not how it works. And eventually, Americans are going to blame you for the cost of eggs. Democrats, they don't want to help Trump lower the price of eggs. They just want to sit there and cry. Holding an avocado, seeing how expensive it's gotten. That's not going to do anything. But you want to take a look at the Senate? What's the Republicans' best performance in the Senate, you may ask? A red wave scenario? Well, I'm predicting a net worth plus, let's see, a 58 Senate majority for Republicans, and that can very much well be the case. If it's a 58 Senate majority, it's not a filibuster-proof yet, but we're getting that close. We're getting there. And, man, a filibuster majority, that would be the first time since the 2010s or early 2000s Republicans have had a filibuster majority. Republicans could, and I don't think the filibuster, that's going to be hard because blue states are voting for Senate, are voting more liberal, Democratic in the Senate. Red states are voting more Republican in the Senate. It's going to be a 50-50 like split. So you just have to rely on the swing states, and the swing states aren't going to be enough to get you a filibuster. So this is kind of my view on what a red wave in the Senate will look like. But if Republicans, they are successful, let's just say, let's see, I think I'm missing one. It's not 57. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Let me check. I think I saved the map somewhere else. Yes, it's 57. 57 seat majority, still good. Senator Ray Lujan, he's kind of weak. He barely won New Mexico in 2020. We could kick him out. I mean, if the best case scenario, we have him in the blue because we have no polling indications of that it's going to be a close race. But hey, we kick him out. I think, are we going to win a filibuster majority in this race? No. Republicans, we will win this chamber. We will hold the Senate, but our goals is to expand. The goal to win a filibuster, I don't think we will. In order to win a filibuster, I don't know. We might have to kick Cory Booker out. And that gets us 59. Cory Booker, New Jersey's become more tossed up lately, but it has become more. Cory Booker has performed a very good election performance in 2020. So I don't know. I mean, Jeanne Shaheen won a landslide in 2020, carrying every county. So she might be vulnerable. Hopefully she doesn't run, but if she does, and this will be a video coming out about that. But yes, I would definitely say best case scenario, 57 to 43 in the Senate. That would sort of be my best case scenario. Net worth of +4 once again. Georgia, Michigan, Minnesota. Minnesota, why would I call her Minnesota? Well, hey, I'm just saying, maybe if Tom Emmer wakes up, I would think it would go to him. Tom Emmer is a strong candidate. People don't like him in the United States, but Minnesotans generally like him, guys. Trump Republicans in Minnesota like him. There is a reason why he is winning re-election 65% in big MAGA Republican counties. And it's not, he's more of a neocon. The reason why Emmer is so big, he is a Catholic. What does that matter? Oh, why does he better be a Catholic? No, it's because Emmer, coming from being a Catholic from the 6th District, a German Catholic district where I'm from, it gets those Catholics from Stearns County and, doesn't even have a clickable map, and Scott County out and voting. Big German Catholic counties. Very populated. They're one of the top 10. The reason why Democrats are getting edged there, because Democrats have been turning the edge in Scott County. It's a part of that metro. Hey, if we win in Scott County and bring it up to like 57%, all you got to do is perform a little bit better in Hennepin County and you win the state. And not to mention, we have proof of Emmer doing a little bit better in, in gubernatorial races. One of the most closest races ever. Tom Emmer. Now, I don't think he's going to get away with Dakota and Washington County if he was to run against Peggy Flanagan. I think Washington County has been getting more tight lately. I think he might have a better chance winning that. Oh, Dakota County is solid blue at this point. Olmsted County, think he's going to lose that, but I think he'll pick up Winona. He's obviously going to pick up these counties that voted for Trump solidly. Times have changed. It's going to be more tight, okay? Difference of 2010, much more gains in the rural areas. Flanagan will do a bit better in Hennepin, Ramsey, and the metro areas. But in regards to getting those votes in the rural areas, which if he had done that in 2010, Emmer would have been the governor. Tom Horner, former Republican, was taking votes away from Emmer. So there's no doubt about it that Emmer would have been governor if Horner wasn't in this race. It was ridiculous. Mark Dayton has always been a weak candidate. I mean, let's be honest. He lost to David Durenberger. David Durenberger is a popular guy. But yeah, this doesn't look like the best going performance. Sure, Bob Short was much weaker. And to a point, this was David Durenberger's worst performance. Yeah, but then again, Mark Dayton was, just starting his political career, yada, 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 but he was losing in areas which, like Hennepin County, has Minneapolis. He lost that. So you get what I'm saying in the rural areas, too. Rural West, generally Democratic. He lost a lot of those Democrat strongholds. So, yeah, Mark Dayton's not really the strongest candidate, which is probably the reason why. Even 2010, 2000 was a pretty close race also. You see what I mean? Yeah, sure, he beat an incumbent governor, even though a lot of people didn't really like Rod Grams. Yeah, Jeff Johnson, this is what I'm talking about. He couldn't even pick up Dakota County and Washington County. General metro counties. So he's kind of a weaker candidate. So generally, no doubt about it, Emmer would have won. Now Emmer's a congressman, long-time serving congressman. He's a ranking majority whip. I think he has a good chance of picking up that Senate seat. That's only if Emmer is in. But unfortunately, Emmer said, no, I don't want to go in that Senate seat. Which is annoying. Seriously. And eventually, Trump's going to have to push him. Look, you are hated everywhere else but Minnesota. You are generally praised in the Minnesota 6th Congressional District. The Republicans love you there. You gotta run. There are people in the Metro lukewarm love you. You gotta run. We gotta stop nominating basketball players and doctors and businessmen. We need to run actual politicians. Tom Emmer, he said, I'm not interested. Well, then again, we got to say Trump needs to act. He's getting more cozy to Trump. And if Emmer's really serious about this, then he's going to have to listen to Trump. You got to run for Senate. That's going to happen. And if he does, I would predict Emmer would win that seat. But this is obviously a pretty long video. Looking here at the Senate, let's take a look at gubernatorial races, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, governor's races. Best performance. Oops, this is... Yeah, we'll go by. I don't want to go through them one by one. So ideally, Democrats will gain nothing if this is Republican best performance. Keep in mind, just like Democrats didn't gain anything in the Senate. Democrat there will win in yeah, the Democrat, I think it's Golden. Golden might be running in this. Oh, it's a battleground. But if that's so, he'll probably win there. But best case performance, I'd say, hey, look, if people of Maine, Janet Mills, she really hurt her political career in Maine when it came to that men and women's sports. It's not really appealing to majority of people in Maine. So keep it up. I'm telling you. Yeah, so the New England states, Massachusetts for sure will be blue. Yes, it's solid. Rhode Island, solid. Connecticut, solid. New York to a point's a battleground. I will say, hey, you know what? Kathy Hochul's just so bad. And not to mention, if low turnout, we could squeak it. I'm saying could. I played around with the election shuffler, and I managed to come across a Republican victory. Election shuffler isn't really a reliable source, though. I don't know. There are some sources saying it's going to be a battleground. It's possible. Kathy Hochul's just so bad. We just need to have the right candidate. Let's see, Pennsylvania. We could pick up Pennsylvania. If we... Maryland. Yeah, this is a massacre for Democrats. Like, horrible massacre. Ohio, Michigan. Yeah, we would win Michigan for sure if this were a red wave. Wisconsin also would be an easy pickup. Illinois, probably Democrats would hold on. We have no indications on if that's going to be a toss-up or not. Arkansas, Iowa, Minnesota could be tossed up. I mean, if Tim Walz is running, well, we have no indications as telling us if it's going to be a battleground or... So far, we got Paul Parrish, a teacher. Really. Stop nominating teachers. Guys, Phil... Okay, Scott Jensen would be better. He's a state senator. Yeah. He ran. He proved to be weak. But then again, I told you all before. I think he's learned. Okay. He was mainly destroyed on the abortion issue. It's going to be a new year now. No Roe v. Wade talk. I'm sure they will bring it back up. We have silly wrong for Minnesota and better for fight for a better legislature. There are partisan Democrat networks that will demonize the Republican candidates year-round to boost Democrat turnout. I don't think there's nothing much. Yeah, Jim Schultz, met him. He is an amazing guy. He proved to be very strong. To a point, running against Keith Ellison, I thought he would win, but hey, I think the abortion issue also hurted him to a point. Kansas, for sure, would be a flip. Oklahoma. What about New Mexico? Yeah, New Mexico. For sure. We could pick that up. That would be amazing if we did that. Yeah, if this red wave scenario, it would be a bloodletting for Democrats. Like, okay, now you cannot say the American people back you because clearly they rejected you. And this would be unprecedented because typically the opposition party does very well. And for some reason, saying toss-up. Even though Joe Lombardo's slamming Aaron Ford, very most popular Democrat. And Joe Lombardo, most popular governor in Nevada. Like, I mean, generally, I think this would be a landslide win. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. 10 to 26 wins. Okay, this is like an 8. A net worth of 8. That is massive. Now, there's no such thing as a majority or majority leadership or leadership when it comes to governors. But there is such thing as a mandate, and obviously a Republican plus 8. That is a landslide in the governorship races. And in my view, I would say, hey, look, Republicans ultimately landslided the governor's races. Now, keep in mind, this is not my prediction. This is the best case scenario. I know a lot of people say, oh, New York going blue is kind of unrealistic. New York going red is unrealistic. Or Pennsylvania going red is unrealistic. Well, then again, Josh Shapiro is a guy with skeletons in his closet. He has been called out for sexual abuse or covering up sexual abuse. That can be used against him by his opponents. You got Maine, like I just said, the current administration support for men and women's sports, men and women's locker rooms. So it's generally up in the air. But what do you guys think in regards to our red wave scenario? Democrats, keep doing what you're doing. Just, I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, I can't tell you anymore. Democrats, they want to change. Some Democrats want to change. Oh, we got to steer away from the men and women's sports thing. We got to steer away from this more of the LGBT, go more rightward. Then you get the far left revolutionaries, the LGBT bourgeoisie, and the BLM. They're going to go and make you lose elections. Then you decide, okay, we're just going to double down on wokeness. Then you got the moderates. They're going to go after you and make you lose the election. So that's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Democrats, they got in bed with these far left Marxists, and they have to pay their end of the bargain now. And they're realizing very quickly that they've made a mistake. And the problem is you got far left Marxists like Al Green in the Congress. And you got, of course, Jasmine Cratchit. You got Ivana Presley. You got a lot of them. Ilhan Omar in Congress. AOC. It's not making them look good. And sure, there could be a lot of criticism towards Trump, even though I think criticism's been very small, mainly in regards to tariffs, and maybe some economy stuff, but that's probably it. A lot of Americans generally approve. Compared to Joe Biden, they criticized him on everything, mainly the fact that he wasn't on the desk. Donald Trump's at the desk every day. He's trying to, and Americans can see it, he's trying to get the country back on the right track. He actually cares. And even though the economy's not good, we know that he's trying. And that's what Americans want to see. A man that's trying. If he tries, we understand that it's going to take a while. We understand that obviously it's not going to be getting back right away. But we see Donald Trump at that desk. We know he's trying. So let me know what you guys think down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.